Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, September 23rd. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started shortly. So just give me a few moments to set up this room, and then we will get started with our analysis for this morning. All right, looks good. Looks good. Couple more things here. And I think we are good to go. So, all right, got that all set up right there. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, solid. All right, looks good. Let people make their way in. As people join the room, I'm going to go ahead and mark up areas of liquidity here, or areas of these K2SR zones. And then we'll go from there. A little bit. All right, solid. So I got all of the K2SRs drawn up right here. Let's use in the room so far. So let's see. Morning, Marco. Morning, Maria. Morning, Peter. Morning, Kenny. Morning, everybody. As people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and identify the overall bias. So looking over here at retail sentiment, you guys can see sentiment is getting pretty big. Sentiment is now at 70% almost. So with that said, we're definitely looking for sells here. 69% long, indicating that 69% of retail traders are currently buying right now. People are trying to buy the dip because they think the price needs to swing back up, but obviously price is likely to do the opposite. So what we're going to do here is we're going to identify a lot of the liquidity sitting at the bottom, right? Because there's a lot of liquidity down here. So when price does come down, you'll know exactly which target price points to look out for. So we have like three big areas of liquidity right here. And just areas to look out for. I'll mark up the higher ends of liquidity too, just because we want to understand where market structure is sitting. And that's about it. So we got some liquidity up top, but we got a lot of liquidity on the bottom too. Price is realistically just ranging between these two high lows at the moment. So let's see who else is here. Let's see. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Karen. Morning, Becky. Morning, Fahad. Morning, everybody. So as people make their way, let's take a look at the fundamentals right now. So fundamentals are currently, fundamentals are currently down 300 points. So with the fundamentals down this much and the sentiment so high, we're definitely looking for sells today. So I'm not looking for any buys at all whatsoever. I'm looking for price to come back down. Going over here as a breaking news from Google. Google CEO Pichai tells employees not to equate fun with money in heating all hands meeting. So he's over here basically. So Google CEO Sundar Pichai spent much of this week all hands on meeting addressing employees' concerns about company cost-cutting measures. So as you guys can see, a lot of these bigger companies are starting to look for ways to save money. So you saw last week or this week that Goldman Sachs was cutting people, FedEx was also cutting people, Google is now going to be cutting people. So if you know, this is a clear indication that we are going into a recession, because a lot of these big companies, you know, typically will continue to grow rather than cut down. So this is another hint that we are going into a recession. This news event just came out about, you know, let me see, about like 10 minutes ago. So about 10 minutes ago, this came out, and then this will probably affect, you know, Google's stock. I don't think Google is part of US30, but I know it's part of other. Actually, it is. It's ABC, right? No, they took them out. So ABC used to be on here, or Alphabet, and they're no longer on US30, but they're going to affect other markets in general, because a lot of these companies are tied to Google one way or another. So we'll see how that affects the market. So just expect some crazy movements here on open. Also an update right here. It says Dow futures tumble 300 points. Stocks head for a big losing week on fear the Fed is overdoing it. So with that said, this is why price is pushing up right now, right? Because they reported bad news, but price is still pushing up. So let me check the news real quick for Friday today. We had news this morning, or we have news this morning at 6:45, flash versus PMI. And then at 8:30. So we don't have any news yet, but we do have news coming up over here at 6:45. So you gotta be careful not to take any trades too close to that time. All right, other than that, guys, market is opening in about a minute. So let's see who else is here. Morning, Dejan. Morning, Patrick. Happy Friday. All right, guys. So with that said, if you guys are just joining the room, good morning. Today is Friday, September 23rd. So happy Friday, everyone. Looking over here at the overall bias, the retail sentiment is currently 68% long right now. So we're definitely going to be looking for sells, since we want to trade the opposite of everybody else. Also, the fundamentals here are very bearish. They're down 316 points. So we're definitely looking for sells here. Looking here on the short-term bias, it is currently bullish right now, but we could expect this to come right back down. So it's bullish right now because the trend meter is green and the price is above the pivots, where the pivot's angling up, green pivot over red. But this can easily shift at, you know, any moment. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens in about 15 seconds. Hey, honey. Morning. Morning, Fudme. Morning, everybody. So, all right, guys, let's see where this takes us. All right. So as of now, guys, I'm still applying the K2 SR rejection strategy only during this live session, or during all of our live sessions, really. We don't have the luxury of, you know, changing things around right now, because price hasn't necessarily been moving directional yet, right? You can see here, here's the 1 minute chart, which is clean. You guys can see that it's not very directional at all. Price will drop, go sideways for a long time, push up, go sideways, go down, go sideways, go up, go sideways. It's not necessarily continuing up or continuing down. It's just going back and forth for the most part. Here on the clean chart, you guys can see that price is realistically just ranging right here. So not too much is going on. It's just going sideways. It's trying to fake out both ways as they anticipate where retail traders are going to hop into. But we already know our long-term bias is going to be a sell. So market is now open. Fundamentals are down 290 points. Sentiment is still pretty low, 68%. So we're definitely looking for sells here. What we got to look for is for price to swing back below here. And then we'll probably take some entries down around this area. We're going to mark up opening price right here. This is New York open. I'm hoping price stays around here, around 6:45, so that when this news event comes out, we'll have all the red flags within this vicinity over here. I don't want it to be down here because it's going to mess with our trades, right? So I actually want price to stay above here, and just leave news price and all the red flags up there because we don't have any other red flags around the chart. Let me check the sessions real quick. Yeah, so all the red flags are up here. You guys can see all the sessions are like way up here. And I would prefer it to stay up there with the rest of them once the news comes out. All right, so price is starting to make its way back down right here. We have a sell signal coming up. We got to watch the trend meter to see if the trend meter turns red. Once we have that, we can confirm, any possible sell entries here as price continues to obviously move along. But until then, we're just gonna have to wait. So I'm fine if price comes down right now and then it swings back up at some point. I just want to have this whole gap right here, this whole area, empty. So I'm fine if like news comes up around this area or if news comes up around this area down here. Either or, it's fine with me. All right, so the trend meter has not changed yet. It's still green, but I can see it changing at some point. It just seems to stay below a little more consistently. Marco said his trend meter is red. So a couple things to make sure, Marco, make sure that you're on currency.com data, and also make sure that your trend meter is set the same as chart. You might have your settings different because if it's all the same, sets a chart and you're on the same data, it should be the same thing. I haven't seen it turn red yet. Has anyone else turned red? I haven't seen it on my end. Main thing is people are typically on the wrong data or their settings are a little off. So might want to check that, Marco, just to be sure. Yeah, I'm still watching right now. I haven't seen it change at all, but I'm waiting for it. Yeah, you might be on a Wanda data or something else. If you type in US30, there's like different US30s that you might be on. So you might be on capital.com, Black Bull, Pepperstone, 8cap. We just stick on currency.com. That's what I've been using for the past couple of years. Yeah, your settings here might be off then, Marco. Has anyone's trend meter turned red yet? Because Marco's is red. I just want to make sure. Because if everything's the same, the chart should be exactly the same. There should be no difference. Yeah, everyone said it's green on theirs, Marco. So it just might, yours might need to be refreshed. So maybe try refreshing your chart. Okay, so it seems like it's an isolated incident just on Marco's screen right now. Thanks, guys, for confirming that. All right, so we have a couple wick rejections here, but still no confirmation of any entries. Trend meter is still green. We're waiting for it to turn red. Also, we need to get a wick rejection off the K2SR structure with a moderate red candle, which we haven't had here. There's 2 wick rejections, but no moderate red candle with it. Oh yeah, Jesus said, make sure you're on the 1 minute, Marco, because on the 5 minute it is red, but on the 1 minute it's still green. That might be another thing. Yeah, if you guys took the breakout this morning, the breakout looks like it hit pretty perfectly right here. You're right, Peter. This would be the breakout right here. And it went straight to, or it's still running actually, but it's almost there. So this would have been the breakout entry right here. Natasha said she entered late, just pulled out in profit. Nice. Yeah, solid. I'm not looking to take the breakout yet, guys. Obvious reasons right here, but following it. Oh yes, Marco said it's just his trend meter that's messed up. He can't check settings on, so he thinks it's frozen. Yeah, that might be the case, Marco. You can probably remove it and then put it back on if it's frozen. It might be your internet connection. All right, so I'm going to take this off because I'm not in this position. I was just following it for the breakout, but the trend meter down here still isn't green. So I'm still looking for it. See, this price continues to move along here. See if any changes here. Sentiment went from 69% long to 67. I'm assuming a lot of people here got stopped out, whoever was, trying to chase the buys there, because price did drop quite a bit from this high up here down to here. It's dropped about 1,000 pips, so it's dropped pretty heavily. Trend meter down here is now turning blue. So here's my logic behind waiting for the trend meter to turn red, right? So the thing is, you don't want to hop into these trades too early because it's still in a short-term uptrend. When it turns blue, that's going to indicate that price is starting to consolidate, right? So if you guys can see here, price moves in phases. So you can see that price will push down, or for example here, price will push up, it consolidates, and then when it turns red, it comes right back down, right? Same with this right here. Price is going down, it consolidates, it turns blue. As soon as it turns green, it's a reversal to the upside. So that's why the trend meter here is very important that you guys look at, because if you guys are already looking for a trade, it's going to help you identify, where to make entry. So like, for example, down here, price was red, it turned blue, turned back to red, and then it just came back down. So downwards trend, consolidation, further downwards trend. And if you guys can identify that, that's going to help you identify where to be trading, right? So for example, here it's still green. So we want it to turn blue so that price consolidates, which is basically what's happening right now. Price is pushed up right here. It's consolidated. It's pushed below. It's now consolidating again. If it continues to drop lower, it will turn red, right? Once it turns red, we can take entries for a sell, and you don't have to worry about it because price is going to be trending down pretty heavily from that point. So, just an explanation as to like why we're waiting for the trend meter. A lot of people don't have patience for the trend meter, right? They don't have patience to wait for market structure to produce and for different movements to happen. But if you guys can wait for it, it makes a huge difference. So possible entry right here, guys, if it closes as a moderate red candle, it just cannot close too big. If it closes too big, then, definitely don't enter it because it might be due for some retracement. Yeah, Maddie, show me it whenever you get some time. So this candle here is going to close in about 10 seconds. You got to make sure that it's a moderate red candle. If it closes with the wick too big on the bottom, don't take it, obviously. This is why you got to be patient for it to close, because you can see it swung all the way back up. The wick on bottom is way too big, and it's not considered a moderate red candle, so you can't take that trade there. Now we're 5 minutes till news, so we got to take a break right now until news comes. Thanks, guys, for the little update. So thanks to Jean and thanks Maddie for the heads up there. We got news coming up right here in about 5 minutes. It's high impact news. So you definitely don't want to screw with this, and you want to wait for it to pass because this can easily affect the market. News coming up is flash services PMI and flash manufacturing PMI, both high impact. So we'll keep following right here. It's fine because price will probably just continue to consolidate until we get down to that point. And then once we get down to that point, price will move directional because it'll probably spike right after. Eric's asking, doesn't the red pivot need to be above the green too? So that's an extra confluence, Eric. The main confluence that we're looking for is going to be the trend meter. That's going to be number one. If you want to confirm it, have a better confirmation, then yeah, you want to see if the pivots are confirming a downtrend too. It's not necessary, but it is preferred. So basically, the strategy requires a trend meter down here. This is already getting confirmed the trend. This right here, you can see that price is below the pivots. So this is going to indicate that price is shifting. But if you have the red over the green, it's going to confirm that it's in a strong downtrend. Because if this indicates it's in a downtrend and the pivots indicate it's in a downtrend too, this will help you confirm it a lot better. You guys can see here that the pivots are a laggy indicator, right? The trend meter is faster than the pivots. So you can see down here, the trend meter already turned green, but the pivots didn't follow up until over here, right? So that's why this is after. You look at the trend meter first, and then you look at the the pivots after. And if they both align, it's going to give you a better confirmation that price is likely to continue dropping. So does that make sense, Eric? It's not a requirement, but it is preferred. So it's like the second step when confirming the trend. Typically, I like to wait for both of them to align, but sometimes it'll move faster, right? So the trend meter will turn faster, and you'll have like maybe one entry before it makes that huge drop. But yeah, if you guys didn't realize that, if you guys look down at the trend meter down here, the trend meter is faster than the pivots. They both identify trend, but one is just a bit quicker than the other. If you were to use pivots 1 and 2, then yeah, I'd probably move fast as a trend meter. But since we're using pivots 4 and 3, it's more of a slower but more accurate confirmation of the trend. Hani's asking, maybe in the spare time, Sean, you can tell how to avoid overtrading and be disciplined and consistent. So things haven't really changed, Hani. It's the same thing every time. Like, you know, the main thing that you can do to avoid overtrading is to not overtrade, right? It's really like the problem with overtrading is the person who's trading. If you can trade like me, and you only trade for an hour, like, you know, you trade from 6:30 to 8. That's your number one step to avoid overtrading. A lot of people overtrade because they trade after that time period. You know, I trade from 6:30 to 8, and I only look for quality entries. There's only so many entries that come up between 6:30 and 8. So, I mean, the main step that you can take is to just trade in the mornings with me. You know, like the only way that you can understand why you're overtrading is if you are real with yourself, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, why am I overtrading? And then you can jot down what times you trade. Like if you show me, like one thing you can do is you can show me your history, right? So just go to your week tab and then take a screenshot of that, and then you can send it to me. If you send that to me, I can guarantee that I can point out exactly why you're overtrading. You're trading outside of the live session. So one of the main things to avoid overtrading is to just have a set time where you trade. And once you're done with that, then you just stop trading. So that's one way to stop overtrading and to be disciplined. And that goes hand in hand with being disciplined and consistent. Because if you trade outside of that time period, you know, you're not disciplined. If you trade outside of that time period, you're not consistent because you're not following your trading plan. So, you know, my main word of advice is to have a trading plan. Like if you want to trade in the morning, trade during a certain period. If you want to trade Asia, you know, just trade for a certain period. The main problem is that if you keep trading all day, it's inevitable that you're going to overtrade. You might take 5 trades in the morning. You might take 5 trades at night. What happens from there? You blow your account, right? Because you get into that downward spiral where if you lose a trade, you just want to keep trading to make it back. So it doesn't make it like things don't really change. The person who's overtrading has to like determine, you know, what's the reason for overtrading. Most of the time it's because they're just trading too much or just trading all throughout the day. All right, so let's see. Maddie said nasty range here. Price is spiking back and forth. Yeah, exactly. This is why you want to avoid the news candle, right? The news candle here was huge. Let's see how far did it push. This news candle right here pushed about 1,000 pips. Huge push around. And this is why we avoid news, right? Because if you guys trade news, it's pretty easy for you guys to get screwed. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up news price right there. News was negative as anticipated. See 7 a.m. or 6:45. US news negative. So I'll probably hold off for a little bit before we take any trades here. The good thing is that more zones are producing around the area. All right, cool. Next question from Hani. Hani said, thank you. What's the best way to determine lot size? So the best way to determine lot size is Well, you should already know what your lot size is before going into any trade, but I mean, you should only be risking about 1 to 3% max per trade. So depending on like what type of trade you're taking or what kind of lot size, you'd have to let me know like the specifics, honey. So let me know what account size are you trading, and what's your stop loss. And then once you provide those numbers, I can tell you, you know, what lot size you should be using, and also what broker you're using as well, and what asset you're trading. So four main things: your account size, your stop loss, your the asset that you're trading. I'm assuming it's US30, and your broker. So those are the four things that I need from you for me to tell you or give you a basically a formula that you can use to identify what your Hani said I blew all my accounts, so I can't answer this. LOL. Yeah, so it seems like you have like a lot. The issues with your trading would be over trading, revenge trading, and over leveraging, right? Over everything, basically. That's everyone's issue, right? Because the thing is, a lot of people enter trades and they don't really calculate what your lot size should be, or they hold on for the trade for too long, or they revenge trade after a loss, or they just overtrade, like you mentioned. They take too many trades. So, you know, basically, when I mean, if and when you have that information, I can tell you. But if you're trading with, so for example, for me, I'm trading a $200,000 account, right? For FTMO. So a $200,000 account. And I want to risk about 2%. So this is the max that I'll risk. Typically per trade, I'm only risking about 3,000. So I'm only risking like 1.5% per trade. So what you have to do is you have to calculate it based off, yeah, I'm only risking 1.5%. You know, max daily loss is 5,000, or it's 10,000 actually, it's 5%. So it's literally impossible for me to blow my account unless I have like 4 back-to-back losses, which will never happen because even if I have one loss, I'm usually done. So that's basically how you would calculate it. Like, for example, if you're on a $100,000 account, right? And you're risking 1.5%. The most you can risk is 1,500. So if you're trading FTMO, basically a 10 lot is considered $1 per pip. So if you're doing $1 per pip times 500 or 300 pips, risking about 300 bucks. It's a little more confusing now because FTMO has changed their lot sizing. It made more sense before, but they've changed it, so it's a little confusing. There's a SR rejection entry right here, guys, but it's still within. Actually, this is within the 5 minutes, so this might be an OP entry if it closes as a moderate red candle. Because it is 650 right now. I got to make sure that it's actually really good, though. It has to be like, you know, a solid moderate candle in order for me to take it, because it is bouncing around a lot. And you also got to make sure the candle's not too big. Let's see. Oh shit, I actually entered the trade. I'd already hit my TP, so I'm fine. I just manually exited. Sorry, guys. I accidentally entered the trade already. It's too big of a candle. I'm not going to take it. I accidentally entered when it was right here. When it was coming down, I was trying to navigate through but I closed out early. So I only made 420 off that trade. I didn't take the actual entry because the candle here is too big. The candle was too big right here, so I didn't take it. I accidentally entered it when it was up here coming down because I was dragging this along and I was checking on my MT4 and I accidentally entered sell. But it's okay. That's not going to count as anything. This candle here is just too big, guys. So I'm not taking the trade. Looks like it's probably going to hit CP though, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, but unfortunately. Yeah, if this closes as a moderate red candle, then this can be an entry as well. All right, so let me take that real quick. Oh, fuck, what the hell happened? Man, I don't know what's up with my MT4. It's like freezing up. It like pulled me out at like 20 bucks. Let me check it real quick on my end. MT4 is like freezing up on me. Uh, where am I at? No, it's still dropping down lower. Let's see what's that right here. Oh, it's probably because of the spread. Spread's kind of wide right now. So it closed me out at like 20 bucks, but it didn't hit my TP. It just like was late execution, which is weird. Let me show you guys real quick. So if you guys were in that position, should have pulled out already in profit. I don't know what's going on with my MT4. Here's my profit so far on this account. You guys can see that it's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with I don't know if it's my social trader tools or if it's got to be on my MT4 because this is my main account. It didn't hit any of my TPs. All right, it looks like it did hit it. Let me go ahead and just take a screenshot of this real quick so that you guys can, but I don't know what happened to my profits over here. Yeah, because it went straight to TP and it didn't pull me out. I'm assuming it's because of the spread, but it did drop below it. So it went actually lower than it was supposed to. And here is my profits right here. I don't understand what happened. So this is the accidental trade that I took earlier when I was trying to wait for the other one to close. The candle was too big, so I didn't take that one. But the second one over here, it only gave me 20 bucks, which is kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with that there. All right, whatever. I'm gonna sit out and wait for another trade. I don't know if my MT4 is freezing or there's something going on with FTMO. Did anyone lock in profit on this one or a full profit at least? Al over here locked it in. CSIC locked it in too. So for some reason, I locked in partial off mine. I don't know. Al over here also has like 70 bucks on one trade. But for whatever reason, I got 20 bucks on mine. Okay. So it looks like, yeah, Mauricio got full TP on it. Tadena got, but Valentine got 200 off it. D got full profit on it. Maddie got half profit on it. So it looks like everyone's kind of different. I don't know what's going on with I don't know. I guess the spread was too big. That's kind of what Josh was mentioned here too. Marco said he got full TP. So I'm glad a lot of you guys here did get full TP on it. But yeah, for whatever reason, I only got that. And it like kind of froze up on me. Well, here the thing that's weird here is that it didn't even close me out at TP. I've never had this issue. Well, actually, I've had this issue before, but it rarely ever happens where I get caught at this point where it doesn't show the green strip. I know some of you guys have mentioned that to me before. They're like, hey, how come it doesn't show the green strip? Honestly, I don't know. But this is the first time it's happened to me in a long time. Typically, stuff like this only happens when the market is super erratic, like how it's moving right now, right? We had news that just came out, 5-10 minutes ago, and the market is just moving all over the place. So that's typically what happens when you get caught in trades like that. Also, when the spread is super wide. So I guess it could have been, a mixture of multiple things, why that would have happened. But yeah, Maddie said it entered him late, so he pulled out ASAP when it hit T at 10 on TradingView. MFF has a lot of issues like that. I know MFF does too, yeah. Typically it's MFF, but I'm surprised to see this issue with FTMO. The only time I really saw things happen like this is when the market's super erratic, which it is kind of erratic right here. If you guys look at how price is moving, I mean, it's kind of all over the place at the moment. So it's basically bouncing back and forth about like almost 500 pips. So for right now, we're just gonna wait for a little bit and wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit, because it is moving a little too crazy right now, where it's not necessarily one that I want to risk any trades or risk any possible unusual movements in the market. It looks like price is trying really hard to get below, but it's like, it's just stuck here. It's stuck in this area, but it's trying to break below. You can see how many times it's tested the zone right here. It like literally comes down, tests the zone, and then spikes right back up. So let's see everyone else's profits so far. I mean, I'm glad that you guys locked in profits. That's the main thing here, right? Main thing for me is to make sure that you guys find solid quality trades here. That's the main goal. I know I locked in partial profit, but it is what it is. I can't really complain about it. It's like, I'm not going to complain about it to FTMO, and then they're going to tell me to provide them all these documents and stuff. It's whatever. I'll just let it go like water under the bridge. But some more profits over here from you guys. Looks like Dell over here currently locked in 724 for the day. Nice work, Dell. Kenny over here locked in $18 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. Dell over here again locked in a total of 1,771. Nice work, Dell. And then let's see, some more profits over here from Kenny. Kenny locked in 18. Valentine over here locked in 220. Nice work, Valentine. All right, solid. So you guys did pretty good so far overall. I would probably sit out of the market right now, guys, because you guys can see how the market's moving. It's moving pretty crazy. It's not necessarily a good time to take any of these risky trades. It's having a really hard time getting past the zone right here. You can see how many times it's tested it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So it's probably be a good time to just sit tight. Let's see. Yeah, Maddie mentioned there's another SR entry right here, guys, but I'm probably gonna sit out for a bit. I gotta wait for this to actually like. Okay, if this one here hits, then I'll probably take the next one. But it is super overextended right now. Price from this point to down here, it's pushing about 1,400 pips. So it's due for some retracement at some point. But yeah, Maddie is right. There is an entry right here. Or I'll see if I maybe take this for a late entry. I'm gonna catch this next one if it comes down even further. All right, so I'm gonna catch this one right here. They missed it. So I had to wait for it to come back down. So I'm not in the position yet. See if it comes back down. I'm in the position now. Just dropping down. I gotta watch TradingView because this thing, the spread here is killing me. Full TP off that. All right, so full TP off that, guys. If you guys caught that, I didn't take this one right here, but I did take this one over here. So as it pulled back up, I waited for it to come back down. I entered full TP off that one. So there was 3 back-to-back wins here. If you guys took any of these trades here, they all hit full TP. There's actually 4 of them. So there's one that we took right here. There was one right here that I didn't take, and this one right here I did take. So I took this one. It gave me partial profit. I didn't take this one because I was waiting for it to confirm. Once this one closed, I waited for this one. Once this one closed, I took it. So there was like 4 back-to-back entries right here for these SR scalps. So if you guys remember when we first started applying the SR scalp strategy, this is how the entries would come up. They would come up with a lot of back-to-back entries. And that's why I was waiting for the first one to close out so that when this one did close, I could take the next one and it would fit the criteria. All right, so not bad right there. All right, so that one right there actually hit my, and it hit my TP, but it gave me 860. So it's still partial profit, unfortunately. I'd rather have that though than nothing. So I'll take it. And this thing is moving. It's just moving too crazy right now. All right, now that prices continue to drop, you guys might want to be a bit careful for the next entry because it's going to break the low over here. Also, price is a bit overextended. We had a little bit of consolidation here, but I wouldn't consider this, a full-on consolidation. I need price to actually consolidate into a range, not just a small sideways movement here. Yeah, Patrick said punches and bunches, exactly. That's typically how the SR entries come up. They come up with like about 3 or 4 entries back to back. Lately, the market's been really choppy, so we've had like maybe 1 or 2 come up, but typically we have a lot that come up, back to back. So let me see if there's anything else right here. There was possibly an SR scalp right here, but as I mentioned, I'm not looking to take anything else right now. I'm waiting for it to retrace up a little bit because it's overextended. So this is another SR scalp, not one that I'm taking. Obviously, you can see the price is pushing up. It's due for a retracement, so I'm going to wait for it to retrace. What I'll do here is I'll probably watch it. If it comes back down, then maybe I'll make a late entry, but most likely not, because it's way overextended. Yeah, and I'm glad we didn't take it because it looks like it might have hit stop loss. So hopefully you guys are listening to my analysis and listening to my precautionary analysis here as well. Yeah, this would hit stop loss if we would have taken it. So good thing we didn't take it because price is due for retracement. As price pushes up right here, we're going to see as it establishes a new high. So as price pushes up, we have a low right here, and then it's going to establish a new high. On the clean chart over here, I can mark this up. If you look closely, you can see that price just came down and hit liquidity. So price came down, hit liquidity, and then now it's pushing back up. This is the range from earlier. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Got that right there, that right there. And there we go, as price starts to come back down. I'm not gonna make the late entry because this would technically hit stop loss already, so I'm not gonna take it. We're just gonna wait for it to establish. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a low to establish, which is pending right here, and I'm looking for a high to establish. Once we have those two established, we can identify a range. The reason why I don't consider this a consolidation or a range here is because a low is never established, right? Price came down, came back up, and then it came back down. It didn't necessarily create a low here or a high here. So once we have these highs and these lows identified and confirmed, we can draw a new area of range right there. This would be considered the range, right? So let me just show you guys an example over here. So you guys can see how price pushed up from this point right here, right? And then we have a high that was established and a low that was established. So with having those two things there, you guys can see that we had a bit of a a range right here, right? So price pushed up, it ranged, and then it shifted back down. Same with this right here. We have a high and a low. This establishes a range. So with where price is currently at, price came down, came up, but there was no range right here. Price is now pushing down below here and actually creating a range. So if these get established and price continues to move sideways, then this would be considered the range. And then from there, when price finally breaks below, then we can look for some more sells. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But that's basically what I'm looking for here, because whenever price is overextended, you want to wait for a range to establish so that you guys can have a better understanding as to like where market structure is. All right, we got a lot of liquidity sitting on top too, so something to keep in mind. All right, so back to the chart markup over here. These zones over here are getting a bit bigger. Let me check to make sure all the zones here are good. Yeah, everything here looks all right. All right, let me scroll real quick. And let's see, Patrick said double body, red wick. Yeah, Patrick mentioned double body, also red wick, rejecting directly off zone often hits. Yeah, so that's one thing that Patrick was starting to identify yesterday. He basically will look for these, like for example, right here, the wick was rejecting off the structure and it's a double body. So Patrick, in a sense, probably would have taken this for a sell and he would have hit his full TP right there. So I agree with that as well. Another thing is if you guys have the other pivots up, like Maddie just mentioned, when it rejects off pivot levels, that's something that you guys can possibly look for too. So the same thing with that same entry that Patrick saw, you can see it's rejecting off the structure and the pivot, double body, and a full TP. Another one right here too, Maddie. So, well, the trend meter was kind of blue at the time, but if it was red and it looks like it was shifting down, these two double bodies right here reject off this pivot, and it would have came down for a nice profit right there too. So I didn't create any of these strategies, guys. So these strategies are something that Patrick kind of came up with. He's looking at structure rejections with a double body. Maddie over here has identified double body with rejections off pivots. So, you know, if you guys continue to trade the same way that we do, you guys will start to see the same patterns as well. And there's a lot of entries here that you can take. You know, maybe at some point we can implement this into an actual strategy because it does look like it works pretty well. The reason why it works pretty well is because you guys are using multiple confluences. So for example, Maddie's combining the variation with momentum, right? So he's using that. He's also combining it with the pivots. So whenever you guys look for entries, like whenever I create a strategy, there's a simple criteria. The criteria for me is to identify bias, right? Look for a bias so that you know which direction to trade, whether it would be, you know, bearish or bullish. You can do that. And then the next thing that you want to look for is, you know, the catalyst of your entry. So basically requirements identifying where to make an entry. So in order to use that, you can use multiple things. You can use the momentum indicator. You guys can use rejections off structure. You guys can use rejections off pivots. And then with that, you can use another confluence if you want to counter trend trade, or if you want to trend trade, but you're looking for the counter trend rejections like reversals. So the last part of that strategy or putting a strategy together is these double body rejections, right? Because if you get a double body rejection, like these where they line up together, that's going to be a V1, and that's going to indicate a reversal back in the direction of your trend. So if price is coming down, price is going up, and you're waiting for it to come back down, you're looking for that reversal back in your direction. Let's see. Maddie said he also has the 5-minute high lows. Gotcha. Yeah. So Maddie uses the 5-minute and 1-minute high lows to identify the range, which, yeah, is useful as well. So back to the clean chart over here, price kind of pushed up a little higher. So that lower one was not established. Let's see where this one goes here. So some more profits right here from Patrick. Patrick locked in 870 for the day. Nice work, Patrick. And then Valentine over here as well, currently locked in a total profit of 761 for the day. Great work, Valentine. All right, so you guys are doing pretty good so far. Maddie over here as well. Maddie locked in a total profit of 910 so far. Some nice work right there, Maddie. And then he posted some more profits, another one here, total profit of 1,430 for the day. All right, not bad. Solid work right there, Maddie. If you guys have more profits, let's see Joshua here as well. He said 1,100 for the day. He's happy with his profits, especially for a Friday, locked in a total profit of 1,100 for the day. So not bad. Some losses, some wins there, but your wins definitely outweighed the losses, Joshua. Nice work. Let's see. Patricia over here currently up 1,635 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. And she's done for the day. Solid. See if there's anything else here. I think that's it for now. If you guys have more profits, post up, feel free. Otherwise, we will continue looking for a possible entry as we move along. So price is still pushing up right here. I need to check what the overall bias is right now. I think it's still bearish, so we'll see if it swings back down. So retail sentiment right now is back up. It's back up to 69%. So this is going to indicate that, we're still looking for sells. Looking over here at the fundamentals, are still pretty high. They're up, or they're down 367 points. We've reached the new 52-week low today. So this is the lowest US30 has ever been in the last 52 weeks, about a year. Question from Hani. Hani's asking when both strategies exit trade by members. Sorry, Hani, I don't get your question. So your question is when both strategies exit trade ? Are you asking for like the TP or stop loss? That's probably sorry, maybe you want to like retype your question, Hani, because I don't understand it. I think you're asking when do you exit the strategies for both strategies? Okay, yeah. So Hani's asking Maddie and Pat, basically like when you exit your strategies. I think they use the same TP stop loss as all the other 1 minutes. So their TP is going to be 100 pips. That's going to be, yeah, it's going to be the same as the SR rejection and as the variations. So 1030 or 130, 300. Yeah, same with Pat. So Maddie and Patrick both confirmed. Thanks, guys, for confirming that. But I don't recommend you do this, Hani, because you already asked the question how to not overtrade. This is going to lead to your overtrading. So don't do any of the stuff that I'm recommending. Just do what we're doing here on the live, because you're just gonna blow more accounts. So just stick to what we're doing here on the live. Don't try to do more than you need to, because you already mentioned that you blew a lot of accounts, and you got to learn from that. You can't just keep buying accounts and then blowing them without actually learning from your mistakes, right? So your mistakes are that you overtrade, you revenge trade, and you over leverage. So the main things that you have to understand is how do you stop over trading, right? Stick to what we're trading here on the live. Like we're trading maybe 2 or 3 trades per day. That will keep you from over trading. Thanks, Maddie. Pending SR right here. Saw that right now too. It's too slow. Let's see. See if I can make a late entry right here. Oh, I already hit my TP. So full TP off that, guys, if you guys made the entry with me. I waited for it to pull up, pull back down, went straight to TP right away. So that was quick. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. Let's see, I locked in 1,060 off that. Finally, a full TP. Man, I was waiting for that full TP. So finally a full TP for me right there. Nice. Joshua caught it as well. Cece caught it as well. So if you guys are paying attention, you guys caught that quick move right there. Thanks, Maggie, for that heads up. So I wasn't even looking at the chart. No. So Eric, right here, the bottom of the wick is fine. So if you measure the bottom of the wick, you just want to make sure it's not bigger than the body, right? So the body right here is, we measure it, the body is about like 40 pips. And then the wick on the bottom is like one or two pips, 2 pips max. So as long as the wick on the bottom is not as big, is not bigger than the body, then it's fine. That's the main thing that you're looking for. So you're basically just making sure that the wick on the bottom is not bigger than the body. So for example, this one right here is obviously too big, right? The wick on the bottom is 170 pips, while the body is only 20 pips. Same with like this one right here, right? This is the other entry we took earlier today, or that we were going to take. The wick on the bottom is about 50 pips, 5 points. And then the actual body is 8 points. So yeah, I know it's kind of hard to see, Eric. Sometimes if you're looking at it really quickly, it might look like it's too big, and sometimes you might want to measure it. If that's the case where you have to measure it, then I would just leave it alone. But another reason why I would have entered this, or why I would have thought to enter it, was because this pattern right here is it indicates that price is going to push down further. So that's why I would have taken it again. There's just different types of candlestick patterns. Like, you don't necessarily need to know everything, but once you see this happen a lot, this is kind of similar to I think people call it like a shooting star or upside down hammer. It's a pattern that indicates that price can keep pushing down. Let's see, D said I'm up 200 profit for the day. Need to practice not blowing my profit, so I'm going to head off. Have a great weekend, everyone. Definitely, D. So we'll see you on Monday. Other than that, let's see. So if you guys have profits to post up, feel free to post them up. Bjorn over here posted some profits as well. Currently up 263 for the day. All wins, no losses. Nice work, Bjorn. Yeah, pretty good profit on this last one right here. You took a smaller lot size, but you did make a way bigger profit on it. So solid work right there, Bjorn. But yeah, basically, guys, we're only looking for sells today. I'm not looking for any buys. I don't mind if price pushes up a little bit and comes back down, but for the most part, I'm definitely looking for sells today. Yeah, and there's another continuation right here that's coming. I'm not going to take this trade right here, but this is just an example of like what Maddie would typically apply right here. It's a double top or a double body. I'm not going to take the trade, but I'm going to follow it. This is part of Maddie's continuation strategy. Looks like it's going to hit too. Yeah, so I didn't take it. Maddie didn't take it. It just looks like price is there you go, full TP. That'd have been a good one, Maddie. We should have taken it. It's all good. We didn't FOMO into the trade, so that's all that matters. Yeah, price is ranging right now, so that's why I don't want to mess with it. It just doesn't look like a good entry for me to take at the moment. Let's check everything else, make sure everything's cool here. All right. Yeah, Maddie said it's iffy. Sisuk said he took it and it hit. Maddie said, well, it's iffy for him because he already made profits. Yeah, no, definitely good idea there, Maddie. If you're satisfied with your profits for the day, then I would just call it a day, just like what D did, right? So D made a profit for the day, and then she knows her problem is that she ends up losing it. You know, she continues to trade, so she just called it a day. If that's your guys' problem as well. So the thing that I need to remind you guys is that Friday and Monday are the riskier days to trade, right? So if you guys are happy with your profits for Friday, majority of people lose money on Friday. So if you have made money on Friday today and you're happy with it, then I would just call it a day. You don't have to keep forcing trades, because the thing is, as we get later and later into the session, the market's going to start to get more and more erratic, right? Because a lot of people are going to pull out of the market for the weekend. You're going to get a lot of this manipulation where price gets dumped, and then people are going to buy the dip who like to hold long term, and it'll just spike price right back up. So, you know, just an FYI, Fridays and Mondays are like some of the riskier days to trade, because typically you have people trying to rush out of the market for the weekend, or you have people trying to rush in. Then you have the different types of traders. You have the short-term traders like us who are going to pull out before market ends this day. And then you have the long-term traders who are buying the dip when people do sell off. So you guys have to keep that in mind. Not everyone trades the same way we do. We're probably one of the very few people who trade on the 1 minute like this. But basically, whoever's trading on like certain accounts where you can't trade over the weekend, or if they understand risk, they typically just don't trade, or they pull out before then. So this is a huge zone right here. I'm gonna have to update this. Let me go and just, yeah, this is a huge zone. I don't really like zones like this because it just engulfs the entire area. All right. So now that that's done with, let's see if there's anything else here. All right, so nothing else here. Let me scroll down and see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Yeah, Maddie said also one of the few people that are in profit. Exactly. C6 said, I'm going to call it, have a great week for knowing how the week was going to play out, running into the weekend with profits. Yeah, definitely, C6. So have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. John said, trading in the market is the only time I pull out. Yeah, it's about right. Let's see, I think that's it for right now. If you guys had any questions and you guys put any questions in the chat, you know, feel free to put your questions back in if I missed it. There's just a lot of messages over here that I'm missing. Hani said, thank you, Sean. Have a lovely weekend. I appreciate everything you do for me and the members. You're great. Definitely, Hani. So yeah, when you get your account back, Hani, because I know you're probably gonna, you know, get a new account, just come back with the details, you know, regarding your account size, which broker you're on, and I'll help you determine what your lot size is. Because if you're just scalping with us here on the live, I can give you the same exact lot size that you can use for every single trade, where you should have no problem either being profitable or making it impossible for you to blow your account. So yeah, definitely, Honey. We'll see you back here on Monday. So have a great weekend. I'll see you then. All right, we have another SR entry that's possibly coming up right here, but I don't know if I want to take it just yet because of how the market is currently moving. It doesn't look like it's going to close anyways. So I don't like it when market's moving erratic like this. It looked like it was going to be an entry when it's below here, but then when it swung up, it just didn't look like a good entry at all. But you guys can see here that, so here's another red flag. Another red flag is that we've reached the lowest that US30 has been at in the last year, right? From year to date. So when that happens, it's going to cause even more manipulation, because what happens is a lot of investors, they have their buy limits at the bottom, right? Everyone's trying to buy the dip. So whenever price reaches a new low, they have these automatic orders that just push price back up. So you can see right here, whenever price drops even lower, so it's dropped down to here, it's dropped down to here, and it's dropped down to here. When it drops down to this point, you see these spikes right back up, right? Because what happens is a lot of people try to buy the dip, like they literally try to buy the dip. So over here on the on the 4-hour chart, right? Typically what people will do is they will have buy limits just waiting at these lows. The thing is, there's no other lows. The lows are, this is as low as it's been, right? So what you have to do next is you go on like the 8-hour and there's no lows there. Actually, I mean, I guess you could go on the 4-hour and just rewind it like super far back. And what I'll do here is I'll just extend this to the left. So if you look over here and you try to identify where the next lows are, the next lows are going to be somewhere like right here. And then somewhere like right here. And then somewhere like right here. So if you go to current price, this is where price is currently at. And you can see price is having trouble getting below this point because a lot of people just have a lot of buy orders just sitting there. So whenever price touches it, it fills the buy order and it pushes price back up. Same with this right here. If price reaches this level right here, price is probably going to bounce up, right? Because what happens typically, people they place their buy limits at these supports because they're trading support resistance. So with that said, you know, this thing is just starting to tumble even further. You can see it's down 400 points right now. It's pretty heavy, but it's not like in the 1,000-point range, right? Like if you guys remember COVID, this thing was like negative 800, negative 1,000. That was crazy. But it's getting to that point because a lot of these companies are starting to hint that we are going to a recession. Google's starting to fire people. FedEx started firing people. Goldman Sachs started firing people. So let's drop below 30,000. And this doesn't really affect us, right? This affects a lot of the long-term retail, not necessarily retail, but long-term traders. For us, we're just getting in and out of the market. So we're basically scalping these little trades within the market. So it doesn't really matter to us if we are going to a recession or not, because we're going to make money either way. So whether price is going down, we're going to scalp down. If price is going up, we're going to scalp up. So we're just going to, you know, dip our hands into the market, pull out $1,000 each trade, and then wait for the next one. That's literally what we're doing. So if it's starting to make sense to you guys, this is why I like scalping, because a lot of the things that happen in the market don't really matter to us. Like if a war is going on, of course, you know, we're going to care about the war, but it doesn't affect us in the market because even though price is dropping, we're not like holding on to these long-term positions where it'll really affect us. You know, we're in and out within a couple minutes. So like, for example, we see another SR entry here. I know there's not one here, but if there was one, we can just hop in real quick. We're in the trade for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. We pull out, you know, take a handful of money from the market, and then we just pocket that and wait for the next one. So this is why I like scalping. I've been a scalper like pretty much my whole trading career. It's been my favorite way of trading because I like to stay out of manipulation. I like to stay out of the market makers' hands. Because if you guys are trading long term, it's easy for you guys to get stopped out here. So like, for example, if you were holding this, I mean, yeah, so this would be nice, right? It would be nice seeing it from where it's at. You could have made like 1,000 pips if you're taking a longer term trade. However, you guys can see here where you could have gone stopped out. So if you were to chase this down and price swung up to stop you out, and then it came back down, you would have been pretty pissed because you would have lost a trade, which would have technically should have played out. So yeah, that's just my logic behind like why I like to scalp, why I'm going to continue to scalp. You know, I'm probably never going to go back to intraday trading or swing trading. It's just, I find it to be a lot more dangerous compared to scalping. The only reason people don't like to scalp is because they don't know how to scalp. If people knew what they were doing, then they'd be cool, calm, and ready for these moves here. But you know, it is what it is. It's not for everybody. So let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. I don't think there's anything else here. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm still looking for any possible entries here, but I'm not sure if we're going to find anything necessarily anytime soon because we have a lot of this back and forth movement. So in order for us to take another sell here, we need to have a sell signal in place. Until we get that sell signal, And unless we get that sell signal, we won't necessarily have any SR rejection. So I'm going to wait for this here to close. We got about 20 seconds. Let me check the clean chart again real quick. So I'm going to go and update this, clean it up a little bit so that we can confirm market structure. So it looks like price is going back into a range. If this establishes here, then this would be the range. This. There. Still don't have the sell signal. We have it pending right here, but we do not have the wick rejection off the K2SR. Jesus said, have a nice weekend, everyone. Thanks, Sean. Definitely, Jesus. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend. You know, I'm just happy that how many trades we have today? We had 3 trades. So I'm glad that I was able to cover my loss from yesterday. If you guys remember yesterday, we accidentally took a trade for an SR. I thought it was an SR entry. A couple people actually thought it's an SR entry, but we took it and I ate a loss off that trade, unfortunately. Good thing for today, we had 3 wins. So, you know, a lot of people like to argue that it's hard to climb yourself out of that hole, right? If you ever have a loss. We had a loss yesterday and we climbed ourselves out by today. So, you know, it just goes to show that if you can stay consistent and not take any overly risky trades, you know, you guys can bounce back from anything, really. You just got to have that mindset that you can. I feel like a lot of people, whenever you suffer a loss, you just become defeated and you don't end up bouncing back. So whenever you guys take a loss, you know, just bounce from it and don't let it bother you too much, because if you do, it's gonna be worse for you. So here we have a possible SR entry, guys. I don't think I would want to take it because we need to break a new low. This is a new low for basically the year. And I think this is going to be a bit of a risky entry to take because it's just going to push, it's going to have to push past the next low, right? So I'll watch it right here. If it closes moderate, then, you know, I'll maybe think about taking it late because I'm expecting a retracement, but I don't think I'm going to take it just yet. So I'm not taking this trade just yet. I know it's a moderate red candle. I'm just watching it to see where it goes. The main problem here is that it's going to have to establish a new low. So a new 52-week low if it does come back below here. So I'm not in this position, just watching it. If it comes back down, then maybe I'll make a late entry, but I'm not taking it just yet. If I do take it, I'll let you guys know, but I'm watching the charts here to confirm first because I'm expecting a retracement at this point. See if it comes down. I'm not going to take it. I'll just watch it. This is like too tempting, and I don't like trades like this where I get tempted to FOMO into it. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, it was too close to this new low here. So if price breaks below there, CNBC is going to report another 52-week low today. But you guys can see how it's moving. It's not really moving too smooth. It's kind of blocky. It's blocky movement back and forth. Oh, and it hit TP or almost. Spread's 170 right now. Yeah, it's too risky of a move. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If there's anything you're confused with, if there's anything you want me to clarify, if there's anything that, you know, you need help with, you know, go ahead and put your questions in the chat so I can help you guys out. You know, my main goal here is to make sure that all you guys are profitable. If you guys are still not profitable and you guys have been with us for a while, you know, just let me know. I can help you guys figure out what your issue is. You know, same with Hani. Hani, she knows that her issue was over trading, revenge trading, and over leveraging. If that's your problem too, then, you know, we can probably try and come up with some solutions. Because I think the main thing for most people is that you're just trading outside of the live. If you're trading outside of the live period, then that's usually where your over trading will start to consume your account. And there you go, full TP off this right here. Would have been a nice entry, but it's all good. I just wasn't feeling the risk right there. Yeah. Joshua said, sitting out of that one, got to secure my profits. LOL. Maddie said, would have been sweating. Yeah, same here. Because the spread's still kind of wide, guys. The spread is still at 170. So even if you were to hit this right here, I mean, it might have barely triggered your actually no, it would have hit your TP, but barely. There we go. Its price drops lower. It's established a new low. So this is the lowest price has been for US30 in the past 52 weeks. Or better yet, a year. So a year from now, this is the lowest price has ever been. Yeah. The last time price was down here was over here on January 31st of last year. So January 1st, 2021, price was at the same exact price point. It's going to reach maybe a 2-year low right here. It's the next lower part is going to be here on December 2020. So December 2020 is going to be the next level down here. Looks like price is aiming for it, but I would be careful because this is where you, so I think this red flag, the year low is probably worse than the sessions, because the sessions they're not as strong. They've been up for like a couple, a day or so, but these lows have been down here for like over a year. So expect a lot of manipulation to probably happen, within the next kind of next drops or so. And it's going to be hard to take any entries from this point because price is already at the low. So if we get another K2SR, I mean, there was an SR rejection right here, which is still technically running, it looks like. Yeah, so there's one here that's running. Again, I'm not looking to take it because it's at the very, very low for like the past 2 years. Bajorn's asking, hey, Sean, I was wondering what is good spreads. So right now the spread's at 170. This is kind of like neutral. It's now at 160. This is neutral to okay. Good spread would be around like 130. So, I mean, it's not a huge difference, but the tighter the spread, the better, because when it hits your TP, it'll pull you out. Maddie said he used to remember when it was around 110. So like, yeah, 110 is ideal. That's where it should be. But for the past couple of months, ideal spread would probably be around 130. Exactly. Maddie said good old days. 130 is like the new low spread. 160, 170 is like middle. 190 is kind of heavy. Anything above 190, you should definitely stay out of the market, because if you enter a trade, you're probably gonna get stuck in it and you can't pull out when it hits your TP. You have to pull out manually. I know, right? The good old days, Maddie. It's probably going to come back though. Now that we're entering the fall, spread might go back to normal, or it might not. I mean, we don't know how the volatility is going to pick up or when. So it's just going to be a matter of time. So another full TP there. There's a couple entries that came up. Another one right here too. So there's 2 full TPs. As I mentioned with the SR rejection, guys, they come in bunches, right? So we had one entry right here. This candle right here was one entry. That was a full TP. That's one. Another entry happened right here. Full TP. That is 2. Another one happened right here. That's 3. Full TP right there as well. So 3 back-to-back wins right there for the K2SR rejection. This is good news, because now that we've identified this, you guys can see that the market is actually moving direct. Well, not really moving directional, but it's moving how it was before, right? Because for the past couple of weeks, we've only had like 1 or 2 SR rejections. When I first introduced the SR rejections to you guys, we were having back-to-back wins because that's typically how the strategy works. There's another one coming up right here, but I think the candle's too big. I mean, it's not too big, but again, it's at a risky area because it's at a low. So what you want to be careful for is for the spike up, because the spike up is going to happen at some point, right? People are trying to buy the dip, and it's at the basically the 1 year to 2 year low. And you want to be careful with, being with trading around this area down below. So this one has about 14 seconds left on the candle. If it does close moderate, again, that would technically be another entry, but I would probably hold off on it. Well, me personally, I'd hold off on it. Yeah, so there's another one right there. Again, I'm not taking any more trades at this moment, guys, because price is just too far low. It's like literally at the support. Every time price drops lower, it creates a new support, right? So the support just keeps dropping from here to here, and then it just keeps getting lower and lower. So I wouldn't necessarily want to I wouldn't want to risk it. So I'm not in that position right there. A couple profits over here. Al's currently up 7,580 for the day. Nice work, Al. Some solid work right there. We got Patrick over here as well. Patrick's currently up 3,972, all wins and no losses. Great work right there, Patrick. All wins. Here goes, price drops lower. I'm not going to follow into the trade though. I think I'm done for the day. So if you guys have any questions, drop your questions in the chat, and then I'll answer whatever questions you guys have. But I think I'm done with actual trading because I made pretty good profit today. And I made back my loss from yesterday. So I don't want to risk it. I'd rather close out the week at with little profit to break even rather than have to risk it and then end up being in a hole for next week. So I typically don't trade on Fridays very much anyways. So I'm not looking to start a bad habit of trading on these days. So let's see, Joshua posted some more profits. He said 1,400 done, securing my profits. See you next week. Thanks for the spot on analysis. Definitely, Joshua. So Joshua is currently up 1,400 for the day. Solid wins throughout the day, Joshua. All right, so not bad. Great work there. Maddie over here as well. Maddie's currently up 1,870 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. All right, solid. Patricia over here as well. Patricia is up on her other account, 1,037 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. All right, guys, you guys did pretty good today for a Friday. Not bad at all. See, Anelli over here as well. He said didn't pull out because of slippage, had to manually exit for some. Not bad, Madhu. So yeah, you looks like your first one hit your TP. The other one, due to slippage, spread was too wide. You had to pull out manually, but you still locked in a total profit of 2,860 for the day. So that's not bad at all, Nelly. So nice work. And you guys did pretty good. See, question from, yeah, Maddie said only a matter of time when you get caught up on the manipulation. Yeah, manipulation to the upside, which I agree. And this one would have hit TP too. So all of these actually hit TP. There's 4 back-to-back K2SR rejection entry. There's one right here, one right here, one right here, one right here, and they all hit full TP. Unfortunately, we didn't take it, but it's okay because I'd rather miss out on a win rather than eat a loss, right? I think that's the key. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people too, is that a lot of people have FOMO and they'd rather risk losing to make another profit rather than to just sit out the market. This is where discipline comes in. So I understand how the market moves on Fridays. I understand how price is at the all-time low for the past year or so. And this is just not a good area to trade because eventually price is going to get manipulated back up, right? It can't just sit down here forever. It's going to get manipulated back up at some point because there's going to have to be some sort of recovery. A lot of other people are starting to notice that this is at a low, right? So they just go on the 4-hour time frame. They're like, okay, this is at a low, or they'll consider this a double bottom, right? There's 2 rejections right here. So there's going to be a lot of long-term traders who are looking at this as a double bottom, and then there's going to be other traders who are looking at this as a huge double or a quadruple bottom, right, or triple bottom. It's been this. Last time it was this low was in 2021 of January, and then 2022 of December. So if they're looking at this as a quadruple bottom, they're going to be anticipating a swing back up, right? So that's why you want to be careful with taking any of these here, because you don't want to get caught up in that. Let's see, other than that, let's see. Kenny's asking, hey, Sean, do you know how long it takes for the sessions to change? The sessions change whenever a session closes, Kenny. So there's no time limit for it. It's just when the session changes, it updates as the new session. So London session closes at 8 o'clock my time. It's 7:48 right now. So at 8 o'clock, it's going to update. That's when London updates. For New York session, it changes when New York session ends, right? So New York session is going to end at 1:30 p.m. my time, right? Or 1 p.m. my time. When that happens, then it's going to change to the next session, because the sessions are only there for the day. So every time the session changes to the next session, that's when it updates. Does that make sense, Kenny? You just got to understand when the sessions change. Oh, season. Okay. Yeah. So Kenny's asking, okay, so let me reread your question. Kenny said, hey, Sean, do you know how long it takes for the seasons to change? The seasons change just like how they do in normal time. Today's the actual first, I guess, full day of fall. So the season is changing now. There's no specific time, because it's like school. Like school doesn't necessarily start at the beginning of the fall. It starts like in August for some schools. It starts in September for some schools. It's the same with like market makers, right? There's no set date where like, okay, we're going to come back to work on September 22nd, right? Some people already been at work like beginning of September. It's why you see volatility pick up. Some people start later. Maybe they start on October 1st. So there's no specific time for when the season starts or shifts. It just depends on like when you see it in the market. So if you guys have seen lately, past couple of weeks, markets have been picking up a lot more because summer is ending. A lot of people are back at work. So as we get deeper and deeper into the fall season, say the next week or so, it's going to pick up more. Volatility is going to be a lot higher, and we're going to be looking for more trades. So it doesn't necessarily take long or short, Kenny. Every year is different. It just depends on when these institutions want to come back to work. So, I'd probably give it maybe a week or two, and it'll probably be full swing once we enter October. Fahad said, okay, I'm done for the week. And everyone who still wants to trade after 8, remember Powell's speaking at 11. Yeah, big heads up. Powell's going to speak today at 11. If you guys are not familiar with Jerome Powell, he is the money printer. So just make sure that you be careful, because he's going to be releasing information on the economy. Jerome Powell basically controls the US Treasury. He makes all the decisions right now. So he's going to be talking about inflation, the recession, what they're going to do to combat the recession. And the main thing for them to do, or like the main thing that they will do to combat the recession, would be to increase interest rates, which is not good for the market. Because if interest rates go up, people can't buy homes, people can't buy cars, people can't take loans out for business, people can't take loans out for anything really. And that's mainly what's going to be discussed today. So it's getting close to 8, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping it up for the week. I'm going to close out this week with some profit. Nothing crazy, but some profit. And I think it's best, because you don't want to be caught up in this crazy movement that's likely to happen. Yeah, Marco said, I'm done for the day too. Got a bunch of poker to be played this weekend. Wish me luck. You'll have a great weekend. Definitely, Marco. Good luck to your poker tournament. I know you're in that final stage, so yeah, take it home. It's going to be a crazy weekend for you. So I think that's about it, guys. Unless there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll hang out for a few more minutes to see if I see anything. But if not, we'll just close it out for the week and just end this week at break-even profits for the official trades. Yeah, definitely, Patrick. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday see if there's anything else here. Goldie's asking, hi Kodi, I got a link from YouTube channel. I'm just wondering how you guys trade. Respond to this guy real quick. Let's see, Christian Alex is asking 1,000 is support. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. Let's see, Mesa over here said appreciate can make 100K Sunday if all goes right. Yeah, no, definitely, Marco. You got it, bro. Just treat it like trading, you know, or treat like how you treat trading like poker. You should be good. So good luck to that, and I'll be watching your stories, man. Keep me updated. But all right, guys, I think that's it. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I would recommend just sitting out of the market. The Fed is going to be speaking at 11, which is Jerome Powell. I think that's about it for today. Let me check the news real quick. Yeah, Fed Chair Powell speaks at 11. He's going to be discussing the recession, inflation, and what he's doing to combat the recession, which is increasing interest rates. So unless you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. But if you guys don't have to trade, I would just sit out the weekend, go into the weekend in a good mood. Don't lose any trades from now until then, because if you do, you're going to have a shitty weekend. And, I can say that from personal experience, and other people can agree. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out. But if not, I will see you guys back here on Monday. So have a great weekend, be safe, and I will post up profits later. So if you guys haven't posted your profits, just add them to the list and we will add them to